So yeah, as promised, I'm back, and as you can see, that didn't actually lead to progress, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. The reason that I muted my microphone in that part, because you're probably wondering about me breaking the promise again, it's because in the moment after that I cut off the footage to end the last video on that cliffhanger, I started to realize what I had done. I realized that it had taken me months to press the Z key. Just to press Z in the ocean. And I started to get very, very upset, and I just kind of progressively went off the rails. And, oh, phone's ringing? Of course it is. Okay, 1 second.
It has now been a few days. The phone call didn't take that long, but after the phone call ended, I did try to resume this recording and keep trying to get this off my chest. Also, I wonder if you can hear the purring kitten. Oh, where's she? Okay, well, she's gone now. Okay, so anyway, so much for that. I did try to resume the recording after the phone call at work, and of course, at that moment, everything at work picked up at once, and it became impossible to try and get all of that off my chest at work, even though it was quiet up until then. So that night after I got home from work, I tried to pick it back up, and my momentum was lost, but I tried anyway. And after 2 hours of babbling incoherently as I just whined and moaned and complained and went in circles and circles and circles, on and on and on, just busting open a pity party, I realized that I had come up with something that I was not going to post. So I tried again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and it was not getting better. Until eventually I did one of these, and it was a half hour long, and I was like, wow, that's way better than all the ones before it. But it still wasn't good enough, and it also broached some topics that I don't think it's time yet to broach those topics. And then just a little bit earlier, I tried again and got it to under 20 minutes. But the theme remained through all of them as I tried to tackle the concept of how I could have possibly been so oblivious to not press a key that I've pressed earlier many times in my playthrough of this video game. Throughout all of my recordings thinking about this topic, I descended into an almost frenzied and desperate and maniacal defeatism and self-loathing. And the thing is, it wasn't really providing me with much closure. It wasn't providing me with a feeling like I had gotten something off my chest, like I was purifying myself of something. I left each time feeling more worked up and just worse about everything. And after I finished the last one a little bit ago, I finally came upon the thought of freeing myself of that. And not only that, but freeing myself of the necessity to disqualify myself from forgiveness and having my mistakes not be the end of the world, even when they're as inexplicable and absurd and ridiculous and frustrating as somehow managing to never press the Z key over the course of months, playing this game hours upon hours upon hours almost every day. What I would love to do is explain that to you. I would love to be able to give you a logical explanation and make it better. I can't, because it's not logical. It's not. And we all know that. And that's why it's so... I've been thinking about it nonstop ever since the moment that I realized in the live recording when I was talking to Apollo. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. It's been very, very, very invasive in my life, and every time I've been in a decent mood, it will just pop up in my head, and then immediately my mood will be ruined. Because I knew immediately when I realized what I had done that it would not go over well, as you know, it shouldn't, because people will very, very rightfully be deeply put off by that, and they have been. I've been seeing it come up more and more and more as time goes on. That has really been a sticking point for people, and obviously it's been one for me, and that is why it has taken me like a dozen attempts to be able to talk this through sensibly and coherently, and without descending into a state of just absolute emotional decay. And somehow, all of a sudden, I'm doing it differently right now. I'm so sorry that I cannot give you a proper explanation for how I could be this sort of person that actually exists, that could not press that button in all of that time. And I know that many of you will still never accept any explanation, and I'm not saying that you really should. And I'm not expecting you to really believe me and believe that it's possible for me to do that. You may go on to just believe that I did it to like farm more episodes for more views, for more attention. I don't know. And it's not my place to decide what you will think. But it is my place to decide how I will live with that. And for this moment, and for hopefully from now on, I decide to stand tall. And that may sound dramatic in the face of just the case of pressing a key or not pressing a key in some random Let's Play, but you know this series means more to me than that. This is my sister's final breath, and she decided to entrust her final breath to me. And throughout my life, I have been prone to the air that exits my body being poisonous and causing many, 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 many people inconvenience and harm, and me somehow managing to not figure that, just to, not even to mash the keyboard and find it out that way. It really is absurd, and it just is so inexplicable. That episode is just another episode in the long and continuing saga of me doing things just like that, and many times, in many cases, more harmful toward myself and other people, including like something that happened at work today, which was definitely more impactful in a negative way. But I feel like realizing that I can approach this conversation that I'm having right now with the invisible person on the other end of this phone that I'm holding here in the voice memos recording, I'm feeling as though I'm experiencing a lesson and taking something more. And hopefully it's not just in this moment, because I am a person who experiences such seemingly uncontrollable ups and downs where tools that seem available to me in some moments are just completely invisible or intangible or like almost out of existence in other moments. But in this moment, I feel like I am developing a tool to be able to process that feeling and that experience and that memory in a more healthy way, because it will happen again. Knowing me, knowing the things about me, it will happen for the rest of my life. And I am very, very afraid, not just for the implications with that in this series and the level of your enjoyment as a viewer, and also your current state of watching this if you're still here, and me wondering if this series has abandoned what originally drew you to it, what originally you found to enjoy in it, that compelled you to come back, that maybe you connected with, that you resonated with in a way that helped you frame your life? I need to learn how to live with my fear of letting you down, and understanding that that is not necessarily a point of view based really in reality, but purely in fear. And I have to let what is be and just keep moving forward. Because I struggle with that. I struggle with figuring things out and allowing myself to be very, very, very imperfect, which again is so hypocritical after what I said to Teddy at the very end of Act 1. But the more that happens in Act 2, the more exposed I am in the middle of this ocean, which is exactly what she wanted. It's why she threw me here after everything that Act 1 developed and everything that she roped all of you into with the expectations that Act 1 built. And we're all here together now, with me floundering on the surface and below, completely exposed, with all eyes on me, and making some pretty weird mistakes that I, not even myself, can believe. And it will continue. I have a pretty weird track record. And I will take this moment to not berate myself or demean myself or disqualify myself or diminish myself. For once, I'll not worry so much about the people who I will never be able to please. And even if now they are on my side, eventually there will be something that turns them against me or her. Or maybe just causes some sort of negative effect that isn't so absolute or tangible. For once, I'll be aware of that, but I will not let it define my experience in this world, for now and for the moments to come. I'm going to hold myself to the belief that I can grow and that I can, even if I am not what I want to be right now, and I have done things that disgust me and disgust other people and could possibly cause them to have a breaking point that will cause them to no longer support me or her. I will live with that, and not only live with it, I will allow myself to still be happy. And even though I will not completely rule out negativity when it needs to exist and just pretend that everything needs to be positive all the time, I was in the ocean for months, and the only options that my brain could award me were to swim right or left. Oh no, don't swim left. Maybe swim down. No, don't do that. That's scary. Jump around a few times, see some things on the surface, wonder if you missed more things on the surface while you were underwater, and that's it. Those are your only options. Oh wait, months later, there was something right under your nose the whole time. I will examine that moment. All of that experience is now under my belt. It's a spike that I'm carrying with me. And at this moment, I will finally choose not to take that spike and gouge out my eyes. I will not take that spike and skewer myself with it at every given moment, like I always have in my life, every time I've made a mistake, every time that there's something that has caused any negative effect, I will not blow it out of proportion. I will not exclude the possibility that I can move on and I can let it be. And I can let people be if they choose that they do not want to move on with me from that moment in this series. I will allow that to happen, and I will allow myself to live with it, and I will allow myself to be happy. I don't have to release a video where I include a recording where it's a half hour of me just completely destroying myself in every way and creating a future where I am unhappy and there's no other possibility. For once, I feel the power to create a new possibility. And with that possibility, if you'll have me, I'll keep going. I'll keep playing this game because I want to. I'll keep making absolutely indescribable mistakes that I wish I could validate, but I can't. And I will hold that fear. And I'll just exist. And I'll do what I want, and I'll keep swimming right, because I love it. Because somehow this weird, endless, seemingly fruitless endeavor of just holding the D key is such a welcome reprieve from the unbelievably unfortunate last few months that led me to being in work, that led my parents to probably never being able to retire in their entire lives, because for the rest of their lives they'll be paying off the hospital bills because, whoops, their daughter got cancer and died. And I'll probably be paying off the bills for most of my life. I'll allow myself the small victories that I've been experiencing over the last few months that have been bringing me a lot of joy and a lot of hope. Even though things like me being so oblivious that I can't press a key that has been used before makes me feel stupid for having such hope. I'll allow myself to feel stupid for having hope and feel hopeful anyway. And I'll keep going to work and having better experiences than I ever did at work before. Probably because of her and what she's been doing for me beyond the freaking grave. And I wish I could do the same for her, but I guess me coming to these conclusions and doing this for myself is kind of doing that for her. I can only hope so. And I can only hope that for all of you out there, it'll be providing some sort of positive effect that can maybe, if not outweigh the negative, be meaningful somehow. And in this moment, I feel grateful for the fact that all of these hours of swimming right gives me a lot of leeway in terms of being able to make these videos, because now that I think I've finally found the take of this recording that I want to use in the next video of Diminish that I've been stewing over for a month because I haven't felt like I've come up with the right thing that I need to get out there in terms of talking about my very upsetting oversight until now. I have a lot of leeway in terms of the footage, where in all of those action-free hours of Apollo just moving to the right, I can go back to any point that I need and chop it off, so that when I finally get to the end of this incessant ramble, it will line up with the moment in the footage that I finally discovered something new.
Oh, what is that? That's so different. It has to be. It has to be a shore. Tell me it's a shore. It sure is! It's sure a shore! Oh, get him up there. Let him rest. Please let him rest. This is agonizing, but I'm not gonna dash because I don't know what's gonna happen to him. He might fall apart. Just let him rest. Just... Oh. Where am I?